Managing Director of Comely India. He is a maverick when it comes to digital marketing. I know him personally, and it's great to have him over here. Pritesh Patel. Pritesh has been part of leadership team at Comely Media, having served as Managing Director for India and Middle East region. He has been an early adopter of digital media movement in India through his work at Yahoo, where he was awarded Yahoo Ratna in the year 2007 for his work on FMCG brands. Before moving into entrepreneur role at Mediallianz Digital and Basecamp Digital, he has also served as FMCG head at Facebook India. And with overall more than 17 years of rich and vast experience, he's worked with many leading brands and partners and has trained 1,000+ digital marketing professionals and aspirants. Of course, I should add one more line over here that Pritesh is our prestigious IPB member as well. So Pritesh, I'm standing between you and the audience, which is a mix of investor as well as our own startup investing company who are eager to learn the tricks of the trade. Digital marketing, as we all know, is a very powerful medium. But a layman understanding is very limited in this space. Would be highly obliged if you can take us through demystifying digital marketing and simplify it for us. Over to you, Pritesh.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Mitesh. Really appreciate your time. Hello, everybody. And just to share, I'm actually regretting that I am an IPV member. Just happened to be last month. I really wish I would have been at least 2 years ago. That's what I was telling my friend Jigar Chheda. He was the one who was really after me, but unfortunately, for some reason, I really lacked it for my lot of other things. But now I'm part of it, so trust me, I'm really loving it. I made sure every Saturdays are given to that, so that so much learnings I am also getting in the due course of time. So I'm glad I'm part of this, and let me just quickly share my screen. You just need to tell me the time because I know we have a very hard stop because there will be a lot of questions. But what I'll try to do is, as the topic clearly says, right? So I'm going to share my screen.
So Pritesh, we'll have about 25 to 30 minutes for your pitch, and then we'll have half an hour for Q&A.
No problem. So yeah, so let me just quickly start. Hope you guys can see my screen. I'm just going to briefly talk about today's topic, that is demystifying the digital media ecosystem. Why we selected this topic is because digital, to be honest, is really complicated. Okay, and to be honest, even I feel I just know 30% of digital. So that's why. So let me just quickly take you through what all things I'm going to cover. Right. So I'm going to cover about Indian advertising industry, traditional media ecosystem, digital ad ecosystem in India. That's the most powerful and important piece we're going to talk about. Why is internet marketing important, and components of digital marketing. So the last piece, which is component of digital marketing, I'm going to break it down into various other components. So I'll take it as the due course of time. So Indian Indian advertising industry, right? The way you see, we did what? 68,000 crores. That's the kind of overall media spends across TV, print, radio, hoarding, cinema, everything. And by 2025, we are expecting to go to around 1,33,000. That's the kind of growth the media is going to get in India. But what is really interesting is, take a look at the digital advertising industry. So today in 2019, what we did was around 13,600 crores, expected to do 28,000 crores in 22, and by 2025, 58,000 crores. Just to give you an idea that I started my career in digital marketing in 2006. And in 2006, the overall industry right now, which is looking around 13,000 crore plus, was just 600 crores. So in just 14 years time, we've already reached that level, and 58,000 crores is also, to be honest, it's very much achievable, and I feel it's going to go much further. Okay. Just to give a breakup of how this ecosystem are actually being spent.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Pritesh, sorry. While you are completely audible, if you can just move a little bit closer to the mic, it might be, the sound quality might improve a little bit.
Sure.
It's
can you hear me now?
It's a little bit numb right now. It's a little bit muffled.
Okay. Is it fine right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
So, just to give you a breakup of this 13,000 crores, what we are talking about, 27% it's come from FMCG company, 90% from e-commerce, 11% from consumer durable, 10% from BSFI. So net, every industry is really realizing the importance of digital. And after what we are going through COVID scenario, trust me, the spends on digital is just going to increase, right? So every company, be it small or big, needs to get into digital. Now, let me tell you one thing, what is really going to drive, because there are a lot of investors, there are a lot of people who have their own startup. One thing which is very critical when it comes to the driving factors for digital in India. So we call it as 3 V's, right? As per the DAN report, it's very clear: voice, vernacular, and video. So any company has been doing something in this three field, there is a humongous amount of opportunity for that company to grow. And if it's a business, it is very critical for a business to keep this three V's in their mind, so that whenever they are doing something, they're going to get advantage of this. So net video, voice, and vernacular are the one which is going to be the driving factor for digital media in India. Okay. So this clearly, this clearly says, right, it was brand equity that digital media to take over print by 2021. We are very sure by the end of this year or next year, we will be crossing print in terms of the media spend. And it clearly says the KPMG reports, right, that digital media is going to be taking the 40% of the ADEX. ADEX is the advertising revenue, right? Advertising expenses, all the spends which happen on digital, 40% is going to go to that. That's when digital media will be number one. Today, digital media in terms of spends are number three. And first is TV, then print and digital. By 2023-24, we are expected that digital is going to be the number one. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say, that any company, be it, they cannot ignore digital as a medium. So just to give you a brief, that just to understand how digital is really growing, right? So it's just 60 seconds. We are comparing between 2018 and 2019. Just have a look at this image. It clearly shows, right, that Netflix in 2018 was 266 hours, whereas Netflix in 2019 was 694 hours. So it clearly shows that how people are using digital in a big way. Be it your Tinder, be it your email, be it your Instagram. Look at Instagram, 174 to 347. That's the kind of growth. In just 160 seconds, this is what's happening around the globe. So that's the power of digital. Now, let me just compare digital with some of the medium. And why I'm doing this comparison is because understanding the other traditional medium to a certain extent is very easy. I mean, a bit simple, right? You put in a couple of months and you'll be able to know that industry. Like, for example, television, I decide a particular channel and I run my spot over there. My viewers see it. My job is done as an advertiser, right? Same as newspaper. I decide Bombay Delhi newspaper, front page of Times of India, my ad appears there and the reader sees it. And same way with radio. So I decide a spot at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my spot is played, listener has seen it. Boom. The thing, oral industry just works around that. But when it comes to digital, this is exactly how the entire digital landscape looks like, right? So the reason why we took this topic of demystifying is, this is a very complicated structure. So what we see on TV, entire family watching at the same time, they all will see the same ad. But that doesn't work on digital. So if there are 20 people watching at the same time on Facebook, they all will see a different ad. That is where the beauty about digital is, right? So it's completely technology driven. And this is just to give you an ecosystem. Obviously, we will not be able to explain the entire piece, but I just want to make you understand that that's why it is critical to keep up to date with the overall digital ecosystem. So just various companies like Yahoo, Google, YouTube. So Google bought YouTube in 2006 May for $1.65 billion. If you actually go at that time, and from an investor perspective, a lot of people have written negative, saying that Google wasted investors' money. But now if you actually see, YouTube is actually giving them $15 billion a year. So out of $160 billion which Google makes in a year, $15 billion comes only from YouTube. Take an example for Facebook. Facebook actually bought Instagram at around $800 million to $1 billion when Instagram was a very small team. But why they bought Instagram? Because the maximum user who comes on Facebook actually plays around with the photo, right? So from an investor perspective, it was a no-brainer for Facebook to go and buy Instagram, because here you go, I'm giving to my user who was already spending so much time, I just give them something which excites them, and that's exactly where Instagram. And last is obviously your WhatsApp. WhatsApp is actually bought by Facebook for $22 billion, right? That's the kind of money Facebook has. So there is a reason for it. But what I want to really tell about all these companies are, these are the companies who really, the biggest asset from a company perspective is users. Without any users, all these companies are nothing. That's one of the reasons you see their interface are really clean and they do everything keeping the user in mind, right? So that's how the evolution of digital media has happened. And just a few pieces of why is digital media important. Because it's engaging, right? So this is the only medium that provides you engagement, right? I see an ad, I can click on it, or I can read it, I can go to that site. Rest of the medium, you don't really engage with an ad. It's 24/7. So I can show my ad to the user whenever he or she is going to come online, right? Be it on phone, or the desktop. Cost reduction. The cost of digital media is fairly less compared to your TV and print and the other media. Relationship. You get to know your users. You get to know your customer. Personalization. I can actually create a product based on my customer. And last but not the least is the measurement. You can actually know the kind of money you have spent. Is it really going in the right direction or not? So this is the entire ecosystem about digital and why it is very critical. So let me move on to the most important part, which is the components of digital media. There are various components, but I've tried, due to short of time, I've just put in some of the components which are very critical. How I will expect you guys to look at this slide is, if you are a businessman or you have your own company, there are various components. You need to identify which components work well for your brand, right? So that is very critical. It might be that you're a very big brand, then all the components are important, no doubt, you should go for it. But particular components you should see from a business perspective and then start moving towards it, right? So obviously I'm going to take briefly about each of this in a very brief one slides. Website, pay-per-click is nothing but search engine marketing, search engine optimization, email marketing, content marketing, then native advertising. These are all the terminology which are used in digital, and that makes it more complicated, to be honest. Then affiliate marketing, social media marketing, online reputation management, display advertising, web analytics, and influencer marketing. There are a few more components, but more or less, if you can understand this, it's fairly helpful for your business to really go for it, right? Then you deep dive into more of what really your business needs. So website, it's no brainer, right? You have anything, you basically needs a website or a mobile app site, a mobile app or a mobile website. So that's something, it's a no brainer. Everybody is mostly having it. So this is a most important component when it comes to digital. Something which is very critical in digital, where Google makes their billions of dollars, is nothing but your pay-per-click, right? Pay-per-click is nothing but search engine marketing. So the ads you see over here, it's exactly, for example, I have taken an example of Parachute Coconut Hair Oil. So the brand is bidding on a keyword, Parachute Coconut Hair Oil, and that's when their ad is appeared there. So the moment user click on the ad, that's when Google is going to charge the money to the user, and that's when Google needs the client needs to pay the money, right? So basically Google is going to charge client for every click. So this is in a very simple way how search works, right? This is the most important component in digital ecosystem, because any company, be it big or small, cannot survive without advertising on search engine marketing. But there are various tools and all in we cannot talk in detail, but overall I'm just saying that this is the most important piece, right? If you see what are the different search engine, by far Google is the biggest, and second biggest search engine is YouTube after Google, and then it's Yahoo and it's Bing, right? So net everything goes to Google if I combine both YouTube and Google. But let's understand how Google is also evolved, right? So there are a lot of investors in the group. Google as a search have actually evolved from Google desktop to mobile search, brilliantly moved from desktop to mobile, and they are pioneer and a monopoly. I mean, that's my perspective, that Google is really worried about how the ecosystem next is moving. And if some of the investors will understand that how is Google to a certain extent, it's completely my view, that it's really under threat. And let me tell you how the threat is going to play, right? So let's understand the evolution of Google search, right? From desktop, it moves to mobile. And from mobile, it moves to the next big thing, which is AI, which is the voice based. And if you actually see voice based, who's the one who's taking the pie from Google? None other than Amazon, right? So Amazon Alexa is the one who's really taking it to a complete different level. And if you remember in my few slides I shown, one of the biggest advertiser was FMCG. If FMCG companies decides to start moving directly run ads on Amazon, that's a direct threat to Google as a company, right? Because today what's happening is, if I want to know about a particular recipe, I just tell Alexa and she'll tell me the recipe. So technically I'm just skipping the Google and I'm directly moving on to Alexa. So that's a very big threat from a Google perspective, which is really picking, and Alexa by far is way ahead than the Google Home, right? So let's understand the second components with search engine marketing, search engine optimization. In a very simple term, this is the most important component any business need to invest time and money. The reason is because this is where you don't really pay Google any money. So I'm just giving an example here. On the top, you can see Myntra ad. Below that, you can see a Myntra listing. When a user clicks on this listing, Google will not charge a single penny to the client. is why search engine optimization is the biggest piece. I've seen a lot of my clients do. Don't give too much weightage. This is the most critical piece none of the clients would miss. And there is a process which you need to follow. It's like 24/7, 365 days. It's not that if today you are on the top and you're going to be top every time. No, you need to really work hard on the entire process and make sure whenever your user is searching, you're always on the top, right? So that's more from a search engine optimization. Again, I'm saying it's free, so you don't need to really pay any money to Google. Email marketing. By far, a lot of clients are actually not really putting a lot of efforts on email marketing, but this is one of the crux of the digital ecosystem. The reason is because this is a free. End of the day, the database which the clients make, it completely belongs to them. So Amazon has so much amount of database of the user. The moment they send out one emailer, amount of conversion they get is so high, and that's all free of cost. It doesn't charge them at all. So there are various platforms which provide you the detail about email marketing, how to do it. But this is something even a small brand rely on. So let me quickly move on to another part, which is content marketing. This is companies who are actually formed. There are various companies who are getting VC fundings or angel investor funding because of content marketing. Because anything you do on digital, be it on Instagram or Facebook or a TikTok, we are talking about content. I mean, right now it's around $4 to $5 billion industry. We expect it to be around $20 to $18 billion industry. So that big is what content marketing is. And let me just briefly explain what is content marketing. Content marketing is nothing. Like for example, what we are doing this webinar, it's some form of content marketing. This webinar has been recording, is how it's going on. This will go on to the page of IVP and CXO Genie. And that's a content which is a really important for a lot of users. So they go to it and that's how they know about the brand. So that's a very simple form of content marketing, right? So there is a strategy which every company needs to follow. Whether the strategy is going to be an article or strategy of a content going to be a video. So once you decide the strategy, you start creating. Assume that there is a brand who decides to go from a video perspective. Then you start creating a video. You distribute it across your platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, various ways. And then what do? You want more people, you amplify it. You pay money to those companies and run the campaigns. You measure it and you optimize it. So net, any product, any company, the circle will really help. So this is the strategy and any company needs to do from a content marketing perspective. And last, I'm going to talk about what are the different ways you can do channels. So if you created a channel, I mean, assume this is the webinar which is being recorded. Where all you can put this webinar? On the website, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on blogs, on Amazon. So various places, YouTube, this is all place you can actually put this content. What are the goals? Goals can be getting more leads, getting awareness, getting engagement, sales. It can be anything. It can be even thought leadership. There are a lot of CXO level people are in this call. They can also do that and be a thought leadership. So that again, it's a content. And what kind of content? What can be the format of content? Format can be anything. It can be social media content, newsletter, article, videos, webinars. Depends upon what your company is into. You can start creating content. Though this all is not going to give you direct revenue now, but over a period of time, this all is going to give you lots and lots of revenue. So that's a very important pillar of digital content marketing. Something which is, some of you guys already in digital will know what is native advertising, but again, there are new terminologies, so there is always a flavor of the year when it comes to digital, right? Something new comes up. So that is native advertising. This is nothing, but it's basically confusing to a lot of clients. But if I explain you in a native advertising, I'm going to explain you by this image, right? So it's a very simple image which you guys see over here. And some of you guys would have already seen something on this image. If not, let me just show it to you. That is an owl which you see on this image. This owl is nothing but net. This is an example of native advertising. What I'm trying to say, when an ad blends in the content of a particular website, that's called native advertising. Let me just take you an example. Here is a Yahoo website. On the top, you can see an ad. Below that, you see is a content, right? It's a news article or something. So the ad and the content doesn't look like, just blends so well, it doesn't look like an ad. This is another example on Times of India app, right? There are the contents on the top and the below, and in between there is an urban ladder ad. So that's a very simple form of native advertising. I mean, I'm just trying to simplify by telling you what is native advertising, right? So what it blends in the content is native advertising. Affiliate marketing, most important piece of marketing. Some of the founders calls I've been, they even said that we do affiliate marketing. Let me briefly explain affiliate marketing in a very simple way. So for assume that you have a 300 square feet office space and you want to rent it out. You get a broker and the broker will get 10 people to see the house. Do you pay broker? No, you don't pay broker. But the 11th person who comes and buy that on rent, then you pay the broker, right? Affiliate marketing exactly works in the same way. What I'm trying to say is, if somebody comes and buy from my website, that's when I pay money to my vendor. And that's what affiliate marketing in a very simple terminology is what I'm trying to tell. So you put a coupon out there, user customer converts and they buy. Net, it's only transactional level kind of marketing. And that's affiliate marketing in a very simple term. This is something I'm going to spend some time. I'm going to briefly move on because I know I'm short of time. So let me quickly talk about the showdown of Facebook, the social media, right? By far, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, these are by far the biggest. You cannot ignore any of this when you are advertising. And the best part is, even your company is a couple of lakh company or a couple of crore company, you can rely on all this platform, right? So there are two sides of social media, be it any of the platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, any. There are two sides. One is your marketing side, where you need to spend money and pay to this platform so that they run the ad. Other side is more of your page management. So for example, somebody comes on your page and have a complaint about it, and somebody from your team replies back. So that forms the part of content, the page management piece, right? So these are the two sides of social media. Let me just briefly take down. These are the various ads kind of you see on Facebook and all. Let me just quickly take you to some of the important stuff of why Facebook. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes on this because this is where Facebook.
Sorry, wherever you need to, Pritesh, sorry, wherever you need to take time, please feel free to take time. If some are important slides, you want to spend some more time, please feel free to do it.
I'll do that. Yeah. So this is something I'm going to spend. And in fact, what I'm going to do is we're going to have a lot of time for Q&A. So anybody has a question, I can go back to the slide and I can answer it. Right. So I'm going to do that.
That's perfect.
Yeah. This is the most important piece from a Facebook perspective, and why Facebook is making so much amount of money, right? So on the left hand side, you can see core audience. That's the kind of targeting any company will provide. That's demographic, locate, interest, behavior, great. But what Facebook provide is something called as custom audience. What is custom audience? In a very simple way, assume that you have your loyal customers database, right? The people who have bought your product, or maybe I'll take a very simple example, Shopper Stop First Citizen card holder. I hope everybody knows about Shopper Stop First Citizen card holder. If Shopper Stop says, I want to reach out to only First Citizen card holder on Facebook, so that the rest of the people don't see my ad. Possible? Not on the other platform, but Facebook, of course it is possible. Why? So what Shopper Stop needs to do is they need to upload their email ID or phone number of First Citizen card holder, and within a few minutes, Facebook will tell you the match rate, and they'll tell you that how many people they've identified who are on Facebook. Obviously, the privacy and everything is taken care. They will not tell you who is this person. They'll just say that out of the 10 lakhs database you uploaded, there is 80% match. That means 8 lakhs people they have identified who are First Citizen card holder. Now Shopper Stop can just run an ad only to those people rather than wasting any money. So this is the biggest targeting which Facebook provide. Not only this, based on that, what Facebook provide is also called as something as lookalike audience. Like assume there are 200 people in this call. So all of those 200 people are not the Shopper Stop First Citizen card holder. Assume there are 100 of them are the First Citizen card holder, but the rest of the hundreds are not. What Facebook does is, based on your custom audience, which you already build on Facebook, Facebook helps you to identify a lookalike audience. Assume that Mitesh is already a First Citizen card holder and not, but there is a lot of similarity between me and Mitesh in terms of he likes G-Shock, I like Formula One, both have common interests. So Facebook helps me to identify a lookalike audience, and then I can run ad only to those lookalike audience. The conversion rate of this lookalike audience is so high because you are actually targeting the users who's the most critical piece for you rather than targeting the entire ecosystem. So this is one of the biggest piece when it comes to Facebook. After Facebook launching custom audience, various other companies have launched this, but by far Facebook has the biggest advantage and they are much better than any other company, right? So this is something from a Facebook perspective. Other thing, when you are on Facebook, even if you're advertising or you're posting it, there are two questions every advertiser needs to keep it in mind from a user perspective, right? Why I care and why I share. Why a customer care to share your post and why a customer care to click on it or engage, why I care and why I share. If you answer these two questions through your post, you get a humongous amount of free organic reach on Facebook. So that's why I put this creative slide. Guys, Facebook creative plays the most critical role on Facebook. If your creative is not good, you are not going to, you keep pumping money on Facebook, but you will not get the output. So make sure you put efforts and make great creatives. And that's why I've shown you these three creatives. Okay. Let me briefly talk about something very interesting. I'm a big fan of Twitter. Unfortunately, Twitter as a company is not really doing that great. You can see there are only 7 million users in India, but they provide all the kind of targeting. They do everything possible. But more or less, Twitter is having an issue because their entire revenue is going out to the influencer marketers, right? So Twitter in that don't pass on the money to the influencers. So net, Twitter is by far the amazing platform in terms of advertising. They have all the kind of targeting possible. But yeah, even if you want, you can just put in swipe your card and start running ad on Twitter. So that's that easily available, right? And these are the different types of ads which are available on Twitter. More or less, there are the same ads which are happening since last 8-10 years, which I've been working with Twitter. So that's nothing new when it comes to Twitter. And that is one of the reasons they are really not grown the way they should have. Okay. Snapchat, I'm sure some of the young audience who are part of this call, they can explain this better than me. But to be honest, this is one product which has really made Facebook go after them. And in India, they have 11 million users. Over a period of time, their numbers has gone down. Their share price is going down. The reason is because Facebook tried to buy them. They said no. And what Facebook did is they just replicated what Snapchat was providing, which is nothing as stories, right? Which remains there on your phone or 24 hours and then it goes. So you have stories on Facebook, you have stories on Instagram, WhatsApp. So there was no reason for people to go on Snapchat. And that is the reason the Snapchat is going down. But still critical from the FMCG companies. Why I'm showing you this? Because a lot of advertisers on the call, these are the kind of targeting they provide. Imagine guys, gender, language, demo, career targeting. I mean, I can go out to the people who have Apple 10 phone. I can actually target them through this kind of parameters. So that's the kind of rich targeting this platforms provide. And these are the few examples I want to show that, I mean, these are the kind of ads, different kinds of ads you can run. I have one more example. This is where brand really do an engagement. This is a young audience, Cadbury's, Oats, the Nescafe, McCafe and all. Those are the brands who really do this kind of stuff with the young audience, and that's where they get their branding awareness about their product. So this is more from a Snapchat perspective. Very important piece. Why I'm putting this on component marketing is online reputation management. What is online reputation management? In a very simple term, if somebody goes on CXO Genie page and type a question or some issue, somebody from CXO Genie page will go and reply back instantly. That is, in a very simple way, is online reputation management, right? For example, a brand can be actually made on online reputation management, or the brand can actually get killed. And take an example of Rahul Bose posting of 442 or something, those bananas, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody took that advantage, and the hotel which actually did that actually went for a negative publicity, and that really faced them a backslash. Same with Indigo. When that person actually hit the Indigo guy, Indigo was all across negative. So online reputation management is the most important piece from any company perspective. This can help to create a brand. This can help to destroy a brand. So that's why this is one of the most important component. From a brand perspective, what you need to really do is maximize your positive feedback, build your brand identity, and minimize and eliminate negative feedback. So if you do this three for your brand, you have achieved your goal on online reputation management. And one company who have done a fantastic job, which comes to mind for online reputation management, is none but Maggie as a brand. They did a brilliant job. Even they went down, they had billions of dollar losses, but the way they manage their entire ecosystem on online and through advertising on TV, they are back on the top and they manage it really well, right? The other form of advertising, which fairly everybody knows, whenever you go on a particular website, you see a banner. That's the banner advertising. It's a very simple form of advertising. This is where the digital as an ecosystem actually started. That's a very simple form of banner advertising. Let me talk about webinar. So anything you do on digital, as I said, measurement is one of the biggest piece. So let me tell you one thing. If you advertise on any platform, Facebook, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, any platform, the companies don't really share detailed information about the user. So that is why it is very critical that the moment they come onto your website by clicking on your ad, you need to capture every detailed information about that person, where they came from, what are they doing, how much time they're spending, which product they're viewing, where they're going after this, which page they are going to. Technically, it's my behavior of my audience who are coming onto my website. That's the most critical piece when it comes to web analytics. So that's a very important part, right? And Google Web Analytics provides a free, of course, it's relatively free to a certain extent. They have a paid version also, but every business, to be honest, I've seen free version is well equipped to manage your entire business. So that's about just a brief dashboard about how Google Analytics helps you to understand your behavior of your audience. Last piece I want to quickly talk about is influencer marketing. I guess we already have one of the company. This is one of the biggest piece when it comes to advertising. And why influencer marketing works is because it doesn't look like an ad, right? It's basically if Mitesh has 20,000 followers, all as a brand, I go to Mitesh and say, here is my ad, put it on your Twitter and Facebook and talk about my brand. So the people, 20,000 people following Mitesh, they will get interest about that brand, and in turn, they will end up buying my brand. So it's a technically a very smart way of advertising, which doesn't really look advertising, but looks very organic. This is a clear example. Wolverine movie, which was supposed to launch, any person who see this, they will see that this is just a general post done by somebody. But this is not a general post. This is an actually a paid activity done by a company, right? So this is how an influencer marketing work in a very simple way. And why I'm saying about this influencer marketing, even you have 12,000 followers or 18,000 followers, there is humongous amount of money lying there for people to make it, right? They have their own passion. You start working towards it and start making money. So influencer marketing is really big. And how big? Here it is. Ronaldo in 2019 signed a $1 billion lifetime influencer marketing deal with Nike. That is how influencer marketing is. Okay. So now what is happening is last piece I want to talk about. Hopefully I'm on time. Yes. Last piece I want to talk about is what is happening is the COVID situation has become a real issue for a lot of businesses, right? But the business which are online are really thriving. Like doing an amazing when it comes to online, like webinar, what we are doing again online. So virtual exhibition is an amazing opportunity for some startup to really come up with an idea to create something in a very quick moment, because going forward, be it auto, be it hotel, be it any industry, they're going to come and do a virtual online. So I'm just giving a few examples of how Times Property did an entire virtual exhibition online. They actually did it for some different properties across Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, some 13, 14 cities, if I'm not mistaken. They showcased everything about the user, I mean, about the products and everything. They request a callback, and then the real estate guy can just pick up the call, get them onto their site and show them the product. So what is happening is your entire exhibition as an ecosystem is moving online. Everything is moving online. So all the exhibition you see that happening on MMRD ground or any other ground or five-star hotel, everything soon you will see will start coming on virtual as an ecosystem. And what is last piece I want to add is digital platform has opportunity for all. Why I'm saying is opportunity for all, because all of us have some or the other kind of hidden talent. All I'm saying is put that hidden talent out there, and there is a humongous amount of opportunity for us to make money. This is a real example, right? And a housewife who just got 50,000 bucks, and she actually made a 10 crore worth of business by putting a sari online. I mean through WhatsApp. Just imagine the opportunity. Okay. If not that, look at this. This is 4 women on YouTuber. They're making good amount of millions of dollars. I mean, they're making money like a top IT executive firm must be making. And what they're making money on their passion. What they like is cooking, and they are making money. So there is various opportunity out there. So if you create a content as a user, your content will be bought by YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, everyone. So that is humongous amount of opportunity. And if this is not more, look at this. I don't know. Some of you guys already know. This is the youngest YouTuber who make $22 million a year. And what he does, he just opened the box of the toy and he gives his review. And there are toys which are available with his brand name. It's Rand's Toys. So this is how, and the moment he puts a video out there, in just few minutes, millions of views starts happening. And that's exactly where he get paid from YouTube. So net, this is what the ecosystem I wanted to talk about. And the last piece, I just want to show what we really spoke about. Obviously, there's a lot of things to talk, but given the time, I tried my best to put in everything in a very simple format and open up in a way that you can ask me any questions. But net, this is what are the components. These are not only the components, but there are various other components out there. But more or less, as a brand, you need to select which of these are more critical for you and start deep diving into it and make sure a brand is present there. And one of the best part about digital is, even if you are a small brand, you can compete with any big brand. Like for example, any small startup would like to advertise on TV and print. Of course, everyone like to do it, but can they? No. Digital is one platform. Even if you have 50 rupees to spend a day, you can actually run your ad and get your customers. So net, this is what from my side. I will end here and I will move on to the question answer sessions if you guys have. I hope it was easy for people to understand. I know it's short of time. I tried my best, but open to question answer session.
Thanks a lot. I think this was really good. I sincerely feel that if we had allocated more time for this would
Yes.
have been like for 3 hours as well.
Yes.
I think say thanks for the background and thanks for this initial thing. We can have one more session follow on to this. Let's take up question and answer right now. MB, can you drive question and answer?
Sure, Mitesh. And please keep on chipping in wherever necessary.
Sure.
First question from Ashim. While you touched upon it, can you talk a bit more about how the influencer ecosystem is bound to grow?
Influencer ecosystem is definitely bound to go to a completely different level. If you ask me, last year,
Papa, earphones fast करना. यो देखो मेरी मम्मी पापा का दोनों
on the mute. If
People be on mute, please.
Yeah, so influencer as an ecosystem is going to be here for definitely, it's going to be there like any other platform, right? And I would say there are billions of dollars are actually invested in platforms. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, Facebook is also coming up with something of their own influencer marketing. So today what is happening is all these big platforms are not really making influencer marketing. So if, for example, if Mitesh is an influencer on Twitter, I pay Mitesh 1 lakh rupees for putting a post on Twitter as an advertiser. What Twitter gets? Nothing. Mitesh get 1 lakh rupees, I get users. Twitter gets nothing. So there are various ways as how, like TikTok has created their own platform where you can actually go and select influencer and negotiate with the influencer and run. So net influencer marketing is a very important form of marketing, but it's critical to identify the right influencer, because what happens is one influencer can go and sell to their competition also. So net that should not be the case.
Sure. Question from Sagnik Pal. Please share what are the KPIs which should be used to measure success on. So there are various platforms. First, website. Second, PPC. Third, SEO. Fourth, content marketing. Fifth, social media marketing. And there was a related question: how do we measure ROI on digital spends? So maybe you can combine the two.
Perfect. So my answer is very simple. Website, make sure your website is really optimized well. When I say optimized well is because you don't know your user is going to see it from an iPhone, or your user is going to see it from a laptop or a desktop or a 15-inch screen or on the TV. You don't know. So you need to make sure that your website is optimized. Moment your website is optimized, Google is going to give you a brownie point in terms of quality of your website. The moment the quality is high, you will start ranking higher on SEO. So that's one of the things. So that's your KPI. If you see that people start spending more time on the website, your bounce rate is really going down. Net, those are the KPI you can judge that, okay, people are interested in my website and they're spending time. So that's one. In search, very critical. It's completely up to you. For example, if I want somebody to convert for a particular product, like this is my product, I want them to buy it, and I'm going to run a campaign in a way to see how many people bought it and how much it cost me to reach out to this one audience who buy this product. So it's completely brand to brand, because if it's a Dove soap, then they will try to see what is my share of voice compared to the in competition that what the other brand is getting, right? So Google is completely performance driven. How much sales you want can be your KPI. Same way with social media also. If I'm running a brand campaign or a performance campaign. If I'm running a brand campaign, in what less money I reach out to more audience. If performance campaign, in what less money I actually sell my product. And same way with content. Content can actually help you to get leads. And I gave that example, right? The seminar will go on to a LinkedIn. There are 10 people will see it, and they might convert for various other things. So technically, that can be your ROI.
Thanks, Pritesh. Very helpful. Question from Sumit. How can a startup decide between hiring a digital marketing team or an agency?
Very, very important question somebody asked. I would say if you're a startup which is funded by by IPV kind of team, I guess you need to really rely on a good agency. You don't need to do everything on your own. One of the thing, I'll be very honest, guys, I run agency and I see clients are more interested in saying that वो agency कैसे करता है वो सीख लो फिर अंदर करेंगे. My job is to create a product and go and get the customer. Let agency do their business and let them earn that money. A lot of time clients startup really put a lot of efforts to learn how to run the campaign. I would always say have a faith in your agency, make sure you give them the right KPIs or targets and make sure they achieve that target. If they don't achieve the target, then definitely don't work with them. But don't just put in everything. But if you're a startup, you just got a first round of funding or an angel investing, I would say do it yourself. There is just hire one intern, tell them what to do. There are so many things available online, which is so easily doable. And just tell them to, and the moment you get that momentum going and you get some good money, and I would suggest move on to a specialist who can do a better job than you. Yeah.
Question from Meenal: what is an optimal ROI that a consumer product can derive through digital marketing? If there are some benchmarks you can share.
So optimal ROI, again, I would say, Meenal, it differs from a company to company. Like one of the company I was working with, they have something as online pathways to teach. You won't believe an enrollment I've never seen. They're getting enrollment at $4. I mean, I've never seen that kind of enrollment. That's really ridiculously less enrollment money. And they are so happy because just by paying 4 months, they're getting people to enroll for the course. Even right now, they're providing free. But those guys can actually start going into paid. They already got 2,500 customers by just 4 rupees. So it's completely depends upon product to product. If you can help me understand a particular product, I'll be able to answer. But net completely depends upon what industry and what product.
Question from Gaurav Upriti: how do we estimate efforts versus cost when partnering with a digital marketing agency?
Efforts versus cost when partnering with digital marketing agency, there are very simple things. You need to keep your completely ROI driven. You should know that by putting an X amount of money, how much customers I am going to get. And second thing, when you work with a digital marketing agency, there is a two-way you can work with an agency. One is a retainership model. You pay them a fixed price for doing a lump sum job for you, or you give them everything to them and you pay them a percentage. So what happens is, and always one request to all of the investors or the startup company over here, please run your campaign on your own company account. Don't run it on an agency, Google or a Facebook account. A lot of time what happens is startup get an opportunity. Agency will say, sir, आप 60 दिन का ले लो, टेंशन नहीं है, Google को हम पे कर देंगे, आप हमको 60 days में पे करो. Just get that credit line. What we do is, I give my account to that agency, and that agency assume I give that account to agency and they're working with me for 1 year. After 1 year, I'm not very happy and maybe I want to change the agency. What are you going to do? You don't have any access to that account because that account belongs to agency. So it's very critical for every startup to make sure if you don't have an account, swipe your card and create your account and give access to that agency. So tomorrow, even if you want to kick that agency, your learning remains with you and give it that account to someone else to handle. So learnings is why I'm saying learnings, because digital ecosystem works very well on learning. Okay, so for example, if sharekhan.com is going as a finance as a keyword, they might get it at $20. And if Mitesh starts a campaign today, he might see it at $80. The reason is because over a period of time, they've got that quality score. So that's why create and keep your own account. Yeah, that's the advice I want to give.
Question from Satya: what's the typical percentage in terms of the overall marketing spend between online and offline?
Startup, I would say everything online. Big companies, I would say 30% has started coming to online now. FMCG companies, and you saw that number, right? 13,000 from 600 crores in 2006. We expect it to be around 58,000 crores in 2025. So net, I would say completely, but all the startup, I would urge to go only on digital because it's value for your money.
Question from Satya again: if I am a direct-to-consumer food company, do I need to spend on other mediums like Facebook, Google, etc., or just the food delivery platforms would be enough?
No, please be on Facebook and other platform, because you assume that your users are just searching you when they are there, but there is something else top of mind. I see some post on Facebook and somebody replied the great stuff. Definitely, I'm going to search for you on Swiggy and Zomato. And the other thing is influencer marketing works very well for those kind of company, because the moment an influencer put out there, and if I follow that influencer, chances of me buying that is going to be high, because my influencer whom I follow they are suggesting it. So definitely needs to advertise.
A question from Gaurav Sharma. If we are making a product, when is the best time to start digital marketing? Before MVP or sometime later?
If you're making a product, it's always good to have, don't do run an ads, because end of the day, what you're going to give it to a customer, right? Because end of the day, a customer is expecting something from you. If you want to do more of an informative second way, like for example, you want to raise funds, LinkedIn is the ideal way. You talk about your own ideas or some companies, or make a nice video of 1 minute and put it out there on LinkedIn or something, then there is definitely catches a lot of attention. But I would always urge that you can don't need to spend money, create your own user, I mean, what do you say, the accounts or handles on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and start posting about your ideas. And in fact, it's an amazing way. As a startup, you can post a question out there and let people answer. You get a lot of ideas from doing such things. So always don't necessarily advertise before your product is ready, but at least entertain and talk to them through the post, which is free of cost.
Question from Sumit. What are the decision factors for deciding which social platform is best for your business?
Oh, brilliant. Very, very important question been asked. Facebook, I mean, I'm glad somebody asked. So how you define whether I should go for Facebook and how should I go for Instagram? So let me tell you one thing. All of you guys are on Facebook. All of you guys are on Instagram. On Facebook, you follow whom? Your friends and family. But do you follow your friends and family on Instagram? No. So when I'm on Facebook, I expect, like for example, let me give an example. Lipton Tea, if wants to advertise on Facebook versus Instagram, what they will do? They will advertise on both. Of course, you can advertise on both. Makes sense because both the users are there. But the way I communicate the user is very critical. On Facebook, they'll say Lipton available in this two flavors, available on Grofers and Big Basket also. Whereas on Instagram, they will not say that this is available on Grofers and all. No, they will say from a fitness perspective, healthy lifestyle, and then how they will project a Lipton over there, because that same user is expecting you to tell from a health perspective vis-a-vis what they see it on Facebook. Yeah.